Hi, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. This is where you can be inspired, learn new techniques, and pick up some new tips and tricks. Get started by subscribing and clicking on the bell.
Well, hi everyone, and thanks for joining me today. I'm glad you are here for a little chat. I'm going to share with you 5 cards that I've made with the August My Monthly Hero from Hero Arts kit. This month's theme had kind of a Game of Thrones feel to it. It has knights and maidens and sorcerers, and there's a big old dragon, there's a king and queen, a tent. We've got 15 main images in that theme, and then there are 15 sentiments. Some of them are parts of a sentence, so you can build your own sentiment, which is kind of fun. And there are also 2 flags that you can fit these partial sentiments in. Then there are complete sentiments such as have a magical day and you rule and some really cute stuff. Let me show you what else came in it a little bit more up close. 2 of these sheets came in and they are beautiful, heavy-duty cardstock with that glimmer. Really pretty and so fitting for this kind of magical theme. Love that. We also got these shaker bits. They are metallic leaf shape, if you ask me. Really small but really pretty. And then there are of course dies for all the images, but then the specialty die this month was this castle die. You'll see on a card I used it, but basically this is what you get with that. And this is, you can see it's not encompassing all that. I just extended it out a bit. And I was going to use this on a card base, and then I never did. So that gives you a good look at what that one does. Pretty cool. So although these images are really nice images, they just don't really speak to me that much. So all I did for this month's card kit is I made 5 of them. I'm going to show them to you. But I'm going to concentrate on another part of the kit that came, and that was the metallic, or the Glimmer metallic inks. There are 3 paint pots, 3 ink pots really is more proper to say, that came with this kit. It's the red, the gold, and the purple. And I did a little research on these. There are actually 6 of them that I know of. There's the gold and pewter set, and they come in groups of 2 by the way, so gold and pewter come together. Green and red come together, and purple and blue come together. And normally they would come in a 1/2 ounce jar with a dropper so that you could control them better. These are in loose paint pots, and you have to shake these up, so it makes it for kind of a messy application in a way. It's, you know, gets on the edges and it's a little drippy and stuff. But I want to show you, if I can, how deeply colored these are. It's pigment based, as I think I mentioned, and it's quite thick. It's way thicker than, say, a watercolor ink is typically. So love this ink, and was like trying to figure out how could I use and feature these inks, and I came up with 4 cards demonstrating some different uses of it. So I'm going to concentrate on that. Right, so one of the things I did was I mixed a good amount of the ink, probably about this much in each of these bottles of ink mixed with rubbing alcohol. I'd seen in my searching of how to use these inks, someone had done that and recommended rubbing alcohol because it dries faster. So that makes total sense. So let me show you what that kind of looks like in this spray bottle here. You get kind of a neat color out of this, and it's pretty intense. It's kind of fun. When you do spray it, you lose some of that metallic aspect of it, I find, but the color is really intense, and where it puddles you'll get some of the glimmer, but not so much in the outer sprays. Now maybe I would get more if I used more of the ink. I just wasn't willing to put more into the bottle when I made these up, but I like it. So I did that with the red and then again with the purple. Alright, so moving on. Let me show you some of the things that I did. First of all, I'll show you the first card I made. This is actually card 6, but I'm not really promoting this one that hard because I didn't use the Glimmer inks on this. But I just featured that pretty paper and put the maiden and the knight on there and said have a magical day. Added some flowers. That's pretty. I'm going to show you another card that I did where I used the castle and then I used the arrow and the fire along with the target. And I thought it was fun, just sort of a play, to have the dragon breathing fire on the castle along with the arrow and the fire and saying warmest wishes. I used a die that has clouds and cut it out for the back using some pearlized paper and then some regular cardstock and just layered that castle in between. And it turned out cute. I like that. Okay, well, let's get on to what I really want to talk about, which is Glimmer inks. So this is the first card that I tried with the Glimmer inks. Now the pattern here comes from a stamp. This is the stamp, and it happens to be a Hero Art stamp. It's called Florentine Scroll Background. It's not a full-size A2 size kind of background stamp, so this card's a little bit smaller than an A2 panel. But what I did was I used my brayer. I put a little dollop out on a craft mat and rolled my brayer in and applied it to my stamp and then stamped it on my white cardstock. Then I used a little bit of the gold Glimmer ink, watered it down a bit with water and splattered it on the card to get that gold flecking. Then I heat embossed with gold using the sentiment Have a Magical Day again, and used my sorcerer and the unicorn. So it took me a few tries to get the stamped image to work well with the Glimmer ink. I found what you really need to do is make sure you apply it nice and thick. And after I did that, I had no problem. I tried it maybe twice and didn't get a fully stamped image. And then even on the time that I did decide to keep it, I had to use my fine brush and just go over little areas here and there where it didn't come off as thickly as I wanted to make it look even. But overall it was pretty neat, and you can see the glimmer in that ink. So it just adds to that magical feel. I think I really enjoyed that technique. Now this is a technique that I actually learned from Jennifer McGuire. It seems like, based on the videos on this, around December of last year they came out with these metallic glimmer inks. I keep saying metallic glimmer, it's really glimmer metallic. Sorry about that, folks. And she had ideas on how to use the inks. This was one, and this was another. Now this is a beautiful card right here. Isn't that background just gorgeous? Now the way that you do this is you use Versamark and you emboss a background stamp with clear embossing powder, and then you use the watered down version of the Glimmer metallic ink and wash over the top. Let it dry a little bit and wipe off or burnish the excess, and this is the kind of result you get. And it is so pretty. So this one says "You Slay," and once again features our really kind of fun dragon, and this time a knight on a horse. So this is the technique that I absolutely love the best, and this is one that I did not see from Jennifer McGuire. So I tried the two techniques that I thought were most interesting that she showed, and it gave me some ideas to try something else, and this was one of them. Love, love, love how this turned out. This is an embossing folder from Sizzix. It's a Tim Holtz embossing folder, and it's got Parisian images on it. And I embossed that into some ivory colored paper, but before I did so, I used the brayer and I applied the ink to the embossing folder, and this was the result I got. I just, again, love that. And so I thought it would be fun to use the "I Sendeth Thee Royal Greetings" in gold. Now I also did a gold fleck similarly to the other one here, and it really turned out neat. So this is by far my most favorite card of the ones I made, and I think really shows the beauty of the Glimmer metallic ink. So here is my last card, and I took this one out of the box a little bit. again, inspired by what I could do from Jennifer McGuire's video, I decided to try a stencil. And this is a stencil you might recognize if you are a longtime subscriber. This one came from the May 2018 kit. It was the Tree of Life kit. And what I did is I used Ranger texture paste, applied that, and before I removed the stencil, I sprayed it with the purple spray. And this was the result of that. It's not a completely even application because it's sprayed, of course, and I think it turned out pretty neat. Now I found a use for the shaker bits as leaves. Like I mentioned, to me they are more leaf-like than anything, and I thought that would also be kind of cool put on this tree to make it seem more magical. And then because we've got a maiden and a knight, it made me think of Snow White and the Sleeping Beauty kind of fairy tales. So I decided to create a bed to put underneath this big magical tree. I altered the woman a little bit so that she could lay down and look more like she was laying down. And then I created a little bed and a pillow for her with white cardstock, edged that a little bit with blue Distress Oxide ink just to give it some definition. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I printed out the Prince Charming on my computer and added the sentiment that came with the kit with the flag saying, "You're my Prince Charming." So I thought that turned out pretty neat. And it is set up so it has a bit of 3D to it as well. So, alright, well, once again I'm going to show you quickly the cards I made using the Hero Arts August kit. I wanted to know from you guys if you're interested in seeing the techniques for these 4 uses of the Glimmer inks. If not, I don't need to go ahead and do that, but I'd be happy to. I did take video of this, I just would need to edit it and show that for you. But these are all the cards I made. I hope you enjoyed them. It was fun to work with this kit, even though it wasn't really my thing. I'm looking forward to the September kit, and I'll be back for sure with cards using that kit. Well, thanks for joining me today. It's always my pleasure to spend a little time with you, and I appreciate you all so very much. I'll be back soon, but until then, keep crafting. Bye.